soon as they do a scan or dig, a concrete scan or dig at the Renaissance Center in Detroit City about Michael Yarborough's story that he was an eyewitness to, that's going to be the end of the Jimmy Hoffa story. So right now, the White House has ordered the feds of Detroit to turn over all their evidence that they have, documents, papers, anything they got on the Jimmy Hoffa disappearance. And they got to turn it over to the White House. And I do believe maybe the head of the FBI guy is going to look into it, or just in general, maybe just a new FBI from the White House or whatever is going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and then they're going to see if they missed anything or if there's new documents in their stuff that they ain't put out yet. And Michael Yarborough is saying that he's gave them, drawings and statements and all kinds of stuff. So they should have that. Michael Yarborough saying that's the eyewitness to the Jimmy Hoffa murder and burial at the Detroit Renaissance Center. So right now, this is taking place, which last month, toward the end of the month, the White House had ordered the feds of Detroit to turn over all the stuff they got on the Jimmy Hoffa disappearance. And on a previous video, I have talked about the White House turning over, wanting the FBI to turn over the documents and stuff, but I said November 23rd, which was a mistake. I had November on my mind for some reason. But it was October, which was last month. And it was toward the end of the month is when this took place. So it's just recent information. And so that just tells you that they're really clawing into this disappearance. It's been a long time, but if they can, get to the bottom of it and recover Jimmy Hoffa from the Detroit Renaissance Center, it's going to be good for his family. It's going to be good for all Teamster members. It's going to be good for all the people involved that's, knowed about the story or heard about the story or just familiar with the story. So to just put an end to the Jimmy Hoffa disappearance story, but it'd be great for his family to, have a proper burial and stuff like that. So, shout out to the White House for doing that. I don't know actually who was in charge of making that call, but, just saying the White House in general. So, that's going to be a big plus at Detroit's darkest times to get to the bottom of the Jimmy Hoffa story. And like I said, the Detroit Renaissance Center is my old clubhouse. And I've spent many a days down there, many a nights down there. A lot of time down there at the Detroit Renaissance Center. And done a lot of things. Like smoked my first cigarette, smoked my first cigar, drink my first screwdriver, drunk my 7 Crowns in Coke in the movie theater at the Renaissance Center, drunk champagne at the Renaissance Center, took my girl to the Renaissance Center. I've done a lot of things at this place. And also, some of my friends, been down there many a times. Uh, Also, me and my friend that I ran with, uh, me and him went down there a lot of times with another friend of mine, James. And but we took a lot of friends down there at times, but you know that was just a main hangout for us, and that's just a lot of things that I've done. My first time doing a whole bunch of stuff as a young man at the Detroit Renaissance Center. So it's just got a lot of history for me, about me, and also the reason I threw in this Jimmy Hoffa story because it's a guy that's an eyewitness that's did a live TV interview about it, and he's just waiting for them to check his story out and stuff like that. So it's just another part of Detroit history, mine and Jimmy Hoffa's and Michael Yarborough's and my friends. And this is a few of my friends I'll name is James, Ron, Mario, Augustine, Bo, just to name a few. And but these people are aware of the Renaissance Center, and they know a lot of things that we done down here, and but it's just a known fact that the Renaissance Center, from the time it was built, it's been historic, and there's no place in Detroit City that's like the Renaissance Center. So that being said, it's just so many things to do at this place. And now, over the years, they did facelifts and stuff like that, kind of, you know, fix it, try to upgrade it and stuff like that. But now they're talking about tearing the two towers down that's on the riverfront. So I don't know if this is going to actually take place, but it was a rumor that they was going to do. Then there was another rumor that they was going to tear the whole thing down. So I really don't know that situation. It was a theory, but then, sometimes they'll come up with something and then change their mind and do something different. So, but before if they do demolish any tower on the Renaissance Center, I hope they follow up on Michael Yarborough's eyewitness story of the Jimmy Hoffa murder and burial at the Renaissance Center and take care of that part before they do any demolition. And I would think that Michael Yarborough probably can go to court and tell his story, and that will freeze any demolition at the Renaissance Center. If Michael Yarborough, if you're hearing this, from Detroit's darkest times. If you do that step, if you feel like you ain't making no leeway, I think you are making leeway, but and also Jimmy Hoffa's son, James P. Hoffa, I think he's part of the reason the White House has made the decision that they made. Uh, but Michael Yarborough is, I would say that would be a good move if you would set up a court date just to have any future demolitions froze until they look into your story as an eyewitness to a murder, and then after they fulfill all that, then whatever happens, happens, you know. So I think that would be a good move for Michael Yarborough if you're listening, or if anybody's listening that knows Michael Yarborough. Relay this video to him, share the video with him, and because I don't know, I don't know if he's thought about that yet, but I know he really wants to get to the bottom of it, and he really wants something done about it because he is an eyewitness to the murder and the burial of Jimmy Hoffa, the former Teamster president that came up missing, but he's the eyewitness to the murder and burial of Jimmy Hoffa. So if he would, even if a judge is listening to this, and maybe they can make a move about that without Michael Yarborough. But this message is for Michael Yarborough to maybe set up some kind of court date or something where you could get any demolition froze until they look into your situation and, put an end to the Jimmy Hoffa story. This way, his family can have a proper burial for their dad, and that this thing can be laid to rest in a good way. You know what I mean? And I'm sure his family would appreciate that. I'm sure his family appreciates Michael Yarborough coming out and as an eyewitness telling his story. So that being said, hopefully that would put an end to the Jimmy Hoffa story. And a lot of people don't know the story. There's a lot of people that knows about it, and then there's a lot of people who doesn't know about it. And so these videos is going to put people on game on the story. And if they're interested, they could actually look into it. And, now that these days, you got the Google and the YouTube and all that, and you could look into it, find out more about it, get more educated on it. And but be careful, because there's a lot of videos out there that people are, doing big interviews and stuff like that, and just really giving false information, And they're, they've came up. Ain't nobody came up with Jimmy Hoffa yet. So I just saw disregard all that. Stay with Michael Yarborough in his live TV interview behind the Renaissance Center on Jimmy Hoffa, because he was an eyewitness that's actually seen the murder and burial of Jimmy Hoffa, the former Teamster president, being buried alive at the Detroit Renaissance Center. So, you know, that's just what it is. That's the newest information out. That's the newest information right now that the White House has just presented last month. So they're really clawing into this, and it's going to happen, you know. So anything that we get that's new, we'll bring it to y'all's attention, and we just want to get the truth out and all the smoke in the air that people's putting out about Jimmy Hoffa. You know, to me, it's just horse shit. You know, so maybe they'll cool down on making these theories up and saying that you know old mobsters told them this and old mobsters told them that and just just a bunch of horse shit, to be honest with you. So that being said, stay with Michael Yarborough. He's on top of it. Detroit's Darkest Times is on top of it. We're going to get to the bottom of it and put an end to the Jimmy Hoffa story. So stay with us. Subscribe to the channel, Detroit's Darkest Times on YouTube. Hit the like, the notification bell. If you'd like to support the channel, the cash out is money sign FC313. The PayPal is DDT313. If you'd like to support us, go ahead and do so. Stay with us, grow with us. We'll keep it 100 on this channel. And just like any other channel, we may make a mistake here and there, but we'll correct it either in the comments or on the following video. We might correct it like that. But I have made a mistake in the past and I've corrected it in the comments. So, you could check it out like that. But, everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. And, but for the most part, Detroit's Darkest Times is on top of the game, keeping it 100, and we're just giving you straight up the story of Slick in Detroit City and everything that goes with it. So that being said, have a good day. Treat each other good. Treat yourself good. Stay positive. Stay on the right track. And peace. We're out.